What happens when three powerful nations sit at a very small table, each with a very large ego and a very shiny red button in the middle? Tonight's episode is not about explosions. It's about misunderstandings. It's about pride. It's about tweets written too quickly. And it's about how sometimes the world feels like it's being run by a group chat that no one muted. Welcome to a satirical look at rising tensions between powerful nations. This is not a documentary. It's a story about perception, power, and people who probably should get more sleep. Imagine a circular room. In one chair sits the strategist. In another sits the defender. Across from them sits the referee. Each claims they are acting in defense. Each believes the other started it. The air is thick, not with smoke, but with suspicion. Nobody trusts anyone. And that's where the story begins. One person says,
"You attacked first, not me. We do not escalate. We respond. You build alliance."
Blah, blah, blah. The other one says,
"Respond. Your responses fly over borders. Your allies test our patience daily."
Blah, blah, blah. The middle one says,
All right. Let's sort this out. We do not want war, but we definitely do not want to look weak.
And here is where it gets interesting. Every action taken for security is interpreted as aggression by someone else. Missiles are tested, statements are made, alliances shift, and somewhere analysts are drawing arrows on digital maps while drinking their fourth coffee. But here's the twist. Behind closed doors, everyone knows something the public doesn't, which is war is expensive, war is unpredictable, war is messy. So instead, we get something stranger, a game of signaling.
a drone flies somewhere, markets shake, a speech is given, hashtags trend, and suddenly, everyone thinks the world is ending by Thursday. But Thursday comes, and nothing happens, because sometimes power isn't about pressing the button. It's about making sure everyone believes you might. Behind the headlines, there are calculations, domestic politics, regional influence, public opinion, global alliances. Leaders must appear strong. But appearing strong and acting recklessly are not the same thing. And here's where humor meets reality. The louder the speeches, the quieter the actual decisions often are. Because once real conflict starts, control disappears. Now imagine the room again. The same table, the same leaders, but for a moment, no cameras, no microphones. Just three leaders thinking privately, and in that silence, something becomes clear. None of them truly wants chaos, but all of them fear looking weak more than they fear misunderstanding. And that is the most dangerous tension of all. History often shows us something uncomfortable. Conflicts don't begin because people want destruction. They begin because people don't trust each other's intentions. Fear misreads movement. Pride resists compromise. And signals get mistaken for threats. In a world where information spreads instantly, sometimes calm spreads slowly. While leaders calculate strategy, someone else calculates survival. Not in war rooms, not behind podiums, but in kitchens, on buses, in small apartments where the electricity bill matters more than geopolitics. Because when tension rises between nations, it doesn't just move missiles. It moves markets, it moves prices, it moves fear. Flour costs more, fuel costs more, everything costs more, sanctions, supply disruptions, currency drops. These are not dramatic words on the evening news. They are smaller meals, longer work hours, and children who hear their parents whisper at night. Then, There are the soldiers, young men and women in uniform who did not design the strategy, but will stand where strategy becomes reality. For them, escalation isn't theoretical. It is deployment. It is distance from home. It is writing messages that begin with, just in case, not because they want conflict, but because preparation is their job. Back at home, a mother watches the news with the volume low. A father pretends not to worry. A child asks, "Dad, we are safe? Write it?" No answer, just silence, because not even they are sure of their safety. The scariest part of conflict war is uncertainty. You never know what's going to happen next. Back at the small table, the leaders debate deterrence. They shout at each other, they blame each other, but the ones who suffer most are the people of the nations, the soldiers who have no other choice than to listen to their orders. The poor father working overtime just to feed his kids, the unemployed people looking for a job. They don't want war, they never asked for it, but the leaders and their big egos can't digest this truth. They will always find ways to show more of themselves. History remembers speeches. It records treaties. It documents wars. But it rarely records the quiet resilience of ordinary people who endure what they never voted for, never asked for any of this. That's it for this video. Make sure to like and follow for more. If you want stories that look beyond leaders and focus on the people who live with the consequences, subscribe. Because understanding conflict means understanding who carries it, and often it isn't the ones holding the microphones.